Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is the topic of the problem with democracy. So, for this video, I'm going to discuss the biggest flaw with democracy as a whole. Not because I'm someone who's against the idea of democracy. I actually love democracy. I think it's fun. I think it's really cool. I just believe that there's a fundamental flaw with it that needs to be discussed. That in itself jeopardizes not just democracy as a whole, but the free world for that matter, its very existence. So I'm going to discuss today what we can do to end this issue of democracy, so we in the free world can live a happy and comfortable life for as long as possible. Okay? So now I mention that, let's get started. So when it comes to the problem of democracy, the biggest problem of democracy is simply having some religious people that everybody's opinions with. Now, the truth of the matter is, this one is of course a very controversial subject. As it's sort of democracy that everybody has a right to speech, and stuff, and that is a very controversial thing. So, you know, even though there's other problems, all that's part of democracy, it's just like, you know, that not that you have the right to do everything. Because the truth of the matter is, as a double opinion, you just understand, not all opinions are equal, okay? Some opinions are very well thought out and very well articulated, but they're incorrect. Some are very well thought out and articulated and correct, and some thoughts and opinions for that matter are just poorly thought out, are really dumb, and in the end of the day, you see what the end results of it in the end of the day are. It's just shit, you know, in other words, it's just fucking crap. So to put it bluntly, without a shadow of a doubt, the problem with democracy is that one of the fundamental principles that we teach people, specifically even in schools, is that everybody's opinion is maybe not necessarily right, but everybody has the right to their opinion, and that you cannot challenge people's opinions. And I guess you can say yes, everybody's opinion is right, which is a very false, misleading way of thinking, and it's very because the truth of the matter is, anyone who's in there, especially in America, a lot of people have very hurtful beliefs that can really hurt people, whether it be people based on the type of demographic they belong to, like a trend or something, or maybe based on some particular type of individual or something like autism, or even just of course, obviously, it's America, lately black people, okay? And that's exactly possible. Some people have some very hurtful beliefs that can really hurt people really bad if they were to be implemented, okay? And it could really screw things up. It's not always the case about, I don't like this type of person. It's a type of view that is very hurtful towards an individual, just like, I believe, every black person should be stopped and asked questions, who looks even remotely suspicious, let alone every young black man. That's a very hurtful opinion, but some people will believe it, okay? And that's an example there. And it's not even just that, like, based on certain types of people that maybe certain people in society do not like. It's also just down to even ideas of how the world should be run. Like, some people might believe, global warming's not real, we shouldn't worry about it, or maybe a take like the economy is actually doing really well, or even communism is going to save our nation, yada 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 yada. All these type of takes that are actually really terrible and horrible and would actually screw up the world. These things right here, these two examples I gave just now, whether opinions when it comes to how people should be treated, or secondly how the world should be run, things like that, is an example of bad takes, okay? Because those takes, if are implemented, would really screw up our planet, to be quite honest. They really will, especially because, the second one, the race issue, which just because of a black race, I don't get me wrong, also have to use common sense and realize things like global warming and stuff like things you should be more worried about because this could affect everybody negatively. So the point of the matter is, these two things right here specifically, the second one like I was getting at before, are the most important issues that obviously people need to focus on and need to make good decisions for, especially since now we live in an age where everyone has a right to vote, and not just the right to vote, but also has the ability to vote, which can obviously affect the outcome of the world we live in. So in all honesty, to answer your question without a shadow of a fucking doubt, this is very dangerous. It's a problem with democracy, is that it teaches everybody's opinion is not only something they have the right to, they have the right to have it and not be challenged, which is very, very, very dangerous. Okay, and actually is one of the reasons why democracies, or free societies, I feel throughout history have always kind of collapsed, because they teach people everybody can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and they don't actually realize, like, you have to actually use logic when you say things, and they just do, and as a result, stupid things happen that fuck them up, and they suffer the consequences. That is not very good, and worse of all, that insult to injury, the person of words are the future descendants, and not that specific generation actually fuck up everything, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get at here. So to answer your question, sure, without a shadow of a doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts, we are going to have to, if we want democracy to exist, we need to stop these ways of thinking. These ways of thinking are very negative, very toxic, and very bad, and we have to solve the problem. The best way to solve the problem, the solution to it, is to realize that people might have the right to their opinion, but you don't have to respect it. And to be even more specific, in this context, you might legally, by the rules of law, have the right to your opinion, but it doesn't mean we take it seriously, because people have all sorts of opinions, and some of their opinions are freaking dumb, and you can tell that they never even thought it out really well. And I bet those are the same type of people who are the type of people who say the most hurtful, messed up things to people, and you ask them a few months or a few years later and say, hey, did I actually say that? Did I actually used to act like that? Like those type of people, oh my god, I fucking hate people like that. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. Aside from the fact that these people are the same type of people who ruin literally everything. I don't even want to get those people. Or just straight up piss me off. The truth of the matter is, we have to realize that just because you have the right to your opinion doesn't mean we have to take it seriously. And more specifically, you don't have the right to not have it challenged. Because if you're saying something that's really hurtful to a specific individual, and it's not even well thought out, it's just dumb. It's not even constructive criticism, or anything. It's just messed up for no reason or anything, or even something that relates to the world as a whole, that's not very good, that can really get us all killed, global warming and all that type of stuff. The truth of the matter is, to put it bluntly, without a shadow of a doubt, why the hell do I want to respect your opinion? Why do I have to respect it if your take is bad? And you can even tell that you think about it really well. Okay? You have the right to your opinion, but if you're going to say it, especially in a public place and especially online, then I have the right to challenge you on it. I have the right to criticize you on it and say your opinion is wrong. And this is why, and present, of course, no shit, the facts. Okay? I'm not going to waste my time, especially being a good person, or a person like me who's actually, type of making world change, having to hear all these dumb opinions people have throughout the world and just stay there and listen to it and let them fuck things up. So if it's not just me, it should be everybody, okay? Especially when we realize, like I was saying before, it can have an effect on everybody because you have an opinion that's not only bad and can hurt people, and you also have the ability to vote, which can obviously affect everybody's life. So in short, to answer your question, yes, you do have the right to question people out there. You might be able to have a right to a democracy to have your opinion, but you have the right as a person who hears an opinion, you know, that you don't like, to question that person's opinion. You know, if somebody has an opinion that's very hurtful or just terrible and can actually get people hurt really badly, no matter how you look at it, whether the first or the two things I mentioned earlier on in the video, the first one or the second, you know, you have the right to question it, and that is honest truth. So in short, if we can deal with this issue, we can deal with the biggest problem of democracy, so democracy doesn't fall apart and crumble, let alone our modern civilization doesn't crumble like many civilizations in the past did. And that is the truth. So anyway, this is my video. This is all to say, and simply put it, I am out, so bye.